Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Drams Delivered. Today we have something a little bit different from what we would usually send out to you. It's not a single malt, it's actually a blended Scotch whisky. Personally, I think blends get a pretty bad rap for being a bit rough, being a bit cheap and a bit nasty, but we think this one is really quite interesting and yeah, worth checking out. So Matt, tell us a little bit about Black Bottle Double Cask.
So Black Bottle is probably one of the most famous whiskies on any bar. I think it's been on the go since, well, I can tell you when, 1879. So in terms of whiskey history, it's definitely worth touching on. And as John said, blends do sometimes get a bit of a hard time, but what these guys are doing now we think is great. So originally started in Aberdeen by a group of tea merchants who kind of branched out into the whiskey game, and it was kind of a best kept secret in sort of the northeast of Scotland. It became very successful, and it was named after this iconic black bottle. But sadly in 1914 they had to change that. So it changed to a green bottle, and that's because the glass was sourced from Germany, and due to the World War they had to find alternative glass, and it was in green glass. Now, we tend not to try and bore you with too much history on Drams Delivered, but the kind of timeline of this is quite amazing. So it was started as a tea merchants, then it was bought by an American company in 1959. Now, they increased the volume of sales massively, but sadly the quality dropped off, and that is kind of where, as we talked about, blends started to get this reputation for being cheaper or inferior. In 1990 it was bought by Allied Distillers, and then in 1995 by Highland Distillers, and they made the bold claim and idea that they wanted to make Black Bottle solely using whiskey from Islay, and they did that, and it was a very sort of powerful smoky blend. Now, that all changed when Highland Distillers bought them in 1999, and then in 2003, this was then bought by Burn Stewart, and then in 2013, bought by Distell. Now, Distell's a company we really like here. They've got some of our favourite distilleries, John.
Yes, most notably probably Tobermory. We're massive fans of Ledgig, and we've featured that before, but also Bunnahabhain, which is a distillery that I've got a soft spot for, and Deanston as well.
Absolutely. So the kind of main component of this is Bunnahabhain in terms of where they get their malt from, and they've actually kind of gone away from this solely from Islay and kind of going back to the original style that was kind of brought out back in the day in sort of northeast of Scotland. So yeah, should we try some, John?
Let's have a little dram. Yeah. Now, one thing that kind of sets a lot of blends apart from single malts is the fact that it doesn't have a cork. So we're not going to have a pop here. We're going to have a crack instead.
Equally.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. There's something that does make me feel a little bit cheap about not having a cork in my bottle, but
although
it's what's inside that really counts.
And some of the most expensive whiskies in the world don't have corks, John. Japanese whiskey.
Thinking of Yamazaki there, obviously. Yeah.
£600 a bottle, no cork. So I know what you mean. There is something quite satisfying about it. So. What's different about this black bottle to the old black bottle? This is part of what we call the Alchemy Series. This was launched in 2021, and this is the double cask, and there was also one released called Island Smoke. And in this year, they've also released Andean Oak and Smoke and Dagger. Now, we've tried them all, and we think this is the pick of the bunch by far. So it's got a very, very interesting makeup. So it's a mixture of malt whiskey that has been aged in sherry casks and grain whiskey in Spanish red wine casks. So let's have a wee nose and taste.
Very fruity.
Very fruity, yeah.
Very sweet.
Red fruits.
And it's also bottled at quite a decent strength, especially for a blend. Normally with blends of this kind of level, you would probably expect to see them at about 40%, which is the legal minimum. This is actually bottled at 46.3%, so you're going to get a little bit more sort of body from that, a little bit more bang for your buck.
Should we have a wee taste?
Let's have a wee cheers.
Orange. great, isn't it?
Not bad at all.
Yeah, really good. Really nice mouthfeel. And like, I think speaking to the guys who were making this, there's actually a really high malt content. And that used to be quite popular in old style blends. Malt made up the bulk of a blend, whereas nowadays blends tend to be the other way around. So grain whiskey is much cheaper to produce. So the majority of a blend will be grain. Whereas the scales have kind of gone the other way. I think you can feel that in the mouthfeel. But grain whiskey does give you that kind of vanilla, creamy kind of sweetness as well. So all in all, I think that's great.
I think it's a fantastic dram. Let us know what you think though.
Yeah.
Would you like to see us feature more blends like this, or would you like us to stick to malt?
And one good thing about this actually that's probably worth mentioning, Drams Delivered is all about experiencing new drams at all different price points. We think the liquid is the most important thing, but the great thing about this, super affordable, super approachable, and you can have a bottle for £25, which is
not bad.
Not bad at all. You don't get many bottles of whiskey for £25, let alone with that kind of mouthfeel and quality. So for me, yeah, definitely give Black Bottle a go. Try the series. I'm pretty sure Master of Malt have an offer for about all four for
80,
£90,
yeah,
around that.
good.
So I don't know how my other half would feel if 4 bottles of whiskey just arrived at the house, but definitely give them a go. So hope you enjoy Black Bottle, and we'll see you next month. Slange.
Cheers.